Right now, as you are watching this, a massive storm system is barreling across the central United States, and it is about to impact over 270 cities from Texas to New York. This is not a drill. This is not a maybe. The Storm Prediction Center has just issued one of its rarest warnings, a Day 6 severe weather alert covering 22 million people. And if you live anywhere between Dallas and Milwaukee, between Austin and the Canadian border, you need to hear every single word of what I am about to tell you. Because in the next 11 minutes, I am going to break down exactly when this storm hits your city, how intense it will be, and what you need to do right now to protect your family. But here is what makes this situation even more alarming. This is not just one storm. This is a back-to-back severe weather onslaught that is going to pound the United States from tonight, Thursday, March 5th, all the way through next Wednesday, March 11th. We are looking at 7 straight days of dangerous weather, tornadoes, giant hail the size of tennis balls, damaging straight-line winds exceeding 75 miles per hour, flash flooding, and critical fire conditions all happening simultaneously across different parts of the country. Now, I made you a promise. By the 5-minute mark of this video, I will have covered your specific city and given you the exact timing of when this storm arrives, peaks, and leaves your area. So stay with me. And if you want to know exactly what is coming to your neighborhood, drop your city in the comments right now. I read every single one, and I will personally respond with your local forecast. Let me tell you something that most weather channels will not say out loud. What is unfolding right now across the plains is the kind of pattern that veteran meteorologists talk about for years afterward. We are seeing a collision of atmospheric ingredients that we normally do not get all at once. You have got record warm Gulf of Mexico waters, sea surface temperatures running 2 to 4 degrees above normal off the coast of Texas and Louisiana. You have got an incredibly juiced up low-level jet stream pumping moisture northward at 50 to 60 knots. And you have got a series of powerful upper-level disturbances diving out of the Rockies one after another like a conveyor belt of chaos. And here is the twist that almost nobody is talking about yet. The reason this is happening is directly tied to a major climate pattern shift. We are right now in the middle of a transition from La Nina to El Nino, and historically, these transition periods produce some of the most violent tornado outbreaks in American history. The jet stream gets wobbly, it gets unpredictable, it gets stuck in patterns that keep firing off storm after storm after storm, and that is exactly what we are seeing right now. So let me walk you through this day by day, city by city, hour by hour, because timing is everything when it comes to severe weather. Knowing that a storm is coming is one thing. Knowing that it arrives at your house at 9:45 tonight is what saves lives. Tonight, Thursday, March 5th, this is where it all begins. Right now, as I am recording this, supercell thunderstorms are already erupting across the Texas Panhandle and western Oklahoma. These are not ordinary thunderstorms. These are rotating supercells, the kind that produce tornadoes and hail the size of baseballs. Here is your city-by-city breakdown for tonight. Amarillo, Texas, storms are already in your area as of 6:30 p.m. Central Time. You are looking at large hail, potentially 2 inches in diameter, and an isolated tornado threat through 9 p.m. Childress, Texas, supercells will be tracking through your area between 7 and 10 p.m. Hail up to tennis ball size is possible. Take shelter if you hear a warning. Woodward, Oklahoma, storms arrive between 7:30 and 9:30 p.m. This is right in the heart of the enhanced risk zone. Tornado threat is elevated. Altus, Oklahoma, you are in a critical zone tonight. Storms with golf ball to tennis ball size hail will push across the Red River into your area between 8 and 11 p.m. Tornado potential is real. Elk City, Oklahoma, expect severe storms between 8 and 10:30 p.m. Large hail and strong winds are your primary threats, but do not rule out a brief tornado. Lawton, Oklahoma, storms arrive between 9 and 11:30 p.m. You are on the southern edge of the enhanced risk, but hail and gusty winds will still be significant. Clinton, Oklahoma, severe weather window is 8 to 10 p.m. Stay alert and have your safe room identified before sunset. Weatherford, Oklahoma, similar timing to Clinton, 8 to 10:30 p.m. is your danger window. Now here is where things get really interesting and honestly really concerning. Oklahoma City, you need to pay close attention. Between midnight and 1 a.m. Friday morning, a line of powerful thunderstorms is going to sweep through the metro. And I am genuinely concerned that people are going to be caught off guard because these storms will have transitioned from individual supercells into a squall line. A lot of folks think that once storms merge together, the danger drops. That is absolutely wrong. The amount of atmospheric energy available tonight is extraordinary. These storms are going to hit Oklahoma City with damaging winds, heavy rain, and the potential for embedded tornadoes within the line. Set your weather alerts. Do not rely on hearing a siren while you are asleep. Have a weather radio or a reliable app that will wake you up. Norman, Oklahoma, same situation. Midnight to 1:30 a.m. Moore, Oklahoma, same window. Edmond, Oklahoma, 12:30 to 1:30 a.m. Yukon, Oklahoma, midnight to 1 a.m. Midwest City, Oklahoma, 12:15 to 1:30 a.m. And it does not stop there. Storms will continue pushing northeast through the overnight hours. Stillwater, Oklahoma, 1 to 2:30 a.m. Ponca City, Oklahoma, 1:30 to 3 a.m. Enid, Oklahoma, 12:30 to 2 a.m. Up in Kansas, Wichita, you are looking at storms arriving between 2 and 4 a.m. Friday morning. This will be mostly a wind and hail event for you, but stay alert. Dodge City, Kansas, storms arrive earlier around 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Liberal, Kansas, 10 to midnight. Garden City, Kansas, 10:30 to 12:30 a.m. Salina, Kansas, 3 to 5 a.m. Manhattan, Kansas, 3:30 to 5:30 a.m. Topeka, Kansas, 4 to 6 a.m. Lawrence, Kansas, 4 to 6 a.m. Kansas City, 4:30 to 7 a.m. Now, I need to pause here and tell you about something that most people are not going to see coming. Do not skip ahead, because what I am about to reveal at the 3-minute and 20-second mark is the most critical piece of information in this entire video. The storms tonight are just the appetizer. Friday, March 6th is going to be the main event. And based on every single atmospheric model I have analyzed, Friday has the potential to produce a significant tornado outbreak across a massive area of the central United States. Here is why Friday is so dangerous. After tonight, storms push through, warm, moist air is going to surge back northward from the Gulf of Mexico during the morning hours. Dew points are going to climb into the upper 60s across Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas. Meanwhile, a deepening low-pressure system is going to send a powerful cold front screaming eastward. When that front collides with all that warm, unstable air, the atmosphere is going to explode. The Storm Prediction Center has placed a huge area under at least a slight risk of severe weather, stretching from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, all the way down to Dallas, Texas. But the real danger zone, the hot zone, is right here between Kansas City and Fort Smith. This includes all of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and eastern Kansas. And within that zone, there is a 10% hatched tornado probability. Now, let me explain what that means because this is important. A 10% hatched probability means the Storm Prediction Center believes there is a 10% chance that a significant tornado rated EF2 or higher with winds exceeding 111 miles per hour will occur within 25 miles of any given point in that area. That is an extremely high probability for such a violent event. To put it in perspective, on an average spring day across Tornado Alley, that probability is less than 1%. Let me give you the Friday timing breakdown, and please write this down or screenshot it. Fort Smith, Arkansas, storms begin developing between 2 and 4 p.m. Initial supercells will be capable of producing large tornadoes and giant hail over 2 inches in diameter. Your peak danger window is 3 to 7 p.m. Fayetteville, Arkansas, storm arrival 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. This is ground zero for the tornado threat on Friday. Peak danger 3 to 8 p.m. Bentonville, Arkansas, same timing as Fayetteville, 2:30 to 7 p.m. Rogers, Arkansas, 2:30 to 7 p.m. Springdale, Arkansas, 2:30 to 7 p.m. Siloam Springs, Arkansas, 2 to 6 p.m. Springfield, Missouri, storms arrive between 3 and 5 p.m. You are in the 10% hatched tornado zone. This is serious. Peak danger window 4 to 9 p.m. Joplin, Missouri, 3 to 7 p.m. Keep in mind, Joplin knows better than almost any city in America what a significant tornado can do. Have your plan ready. Branson, Missouri, 3:30 to 8 p.m. West Plains, Missouri, 4 to 9 p.m. Poplar Bluff, Missouri, 5 to 10 p.m. Cape Girardeau, Missouri, 6 to 11 p.m. Columbia, Missouri, 5 to 9 p.m. Jefferson City, Missouri, 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. Sedalia, Missouri, 4 to 8 p.m. Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas, storms will be arriving from the southwest starting around 4 p.m. Your peak severe weather window is 5 to 10 p.m. This includes the entire metro. Overland Park, Olathe, Independence, Lee Summit, Blue Springs, Liberty, all of you are in this window. St. Joseph, Missouri, 4:30 to 8:30 p.m. Marshall, Missouri, 4:30 to 8 p.m. Now let me jump down to Oklahoma because Friday afternoon is going to be intense there as well. Tulsa, Oklahoma, storms arrive between 3 and 5 p.m. Tornado threat is elevated. Peak danger 3 to 8 p.m. Muskogee, Oklahoma, 2:30 to 6:30 p.m. Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, 3 to 7 p.m. Bartlesville, Oklahoma, 3 to 7 p.m. McAllister, Oklahoma, 2 to 6 p.m. Ada, Oklahoma, 2 to 5:30 p.m. Durant, Oklahoma, 2 to 5 p.m. Ardmore, Oklahoma, 1:30 to 5 p.m. Shawnee, Oklahoma, 2 to 6 p.m. Stillwater, Oklahoma, 3 to 7 p.m. And do not forget about the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Dallas, storms arrive between 1 and 3 p.m. Your primary threats will be large hail and damaging winds with an isolated tornado possible. Peak danger 1 to 6 p.m. Fort Worth, 12:30 to 5 p.m. Arlington, 1 to 5:30 p.m. Plano, 1 to 5 p.m. Garland, 1 to 5 p.m. McKinney, 1:30 to 5 p.m. Denton, 12:30 to 4:30 p.m. Waco, 12 to 4 p.m. Temple, 11:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Killeen, 11:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Austin, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. with an additional slight risk area to your south. San Antonio, 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., marginal risk. San Angelo, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., separate slight risk zone. Abilene, 11:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Now here is something you absolutely cannot miss. Do not skip this part. As these supercells fire up during the afternoon, they are going to start merging into a massive squall line during the evening hours, and that squall line is going to sweep eastward through the night. This is when the threat transitions from tornadoes and giant hail to widespread damaging straight-line winds. And I am talking winds of 60 to 80 miles per hour across a line stretching from Wisconsin to Texas. Here is your Friday evening and overnight timing for the squall line. Des Moines, Iowa, storms and squall line arrive between 7 and 11 p.m. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, 8 p.m. to midnight. Davenport, Iowa, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Iowa City, Iowa, 8:30 p.m. to midnight. Omaha, Nebraska, storms begin forming around 1 a.m. Friday night. Heavy rain and strong winds through 4 a.m. Lincoln, Nebraska, 1 to 4 a.m. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, midnight to 3 a.m. Sioux City, Iowa, midnight to 3 a.m. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, squall line arrives between 10 p.m. Friday and 2 a.m. Saturday. Madison, Wisconsin, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Green Bay, Wisconsin, 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Appleton, Wisconsin, 10:30 p.m. to 2 a.m. Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota, you are on the northern fringe. Storms and heavy rain arrive between 11 p.m. Friday and 3 a.m. Saturday. Rochester, Minnesota, 10 to 2 a.m. Rockford, Illinois, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Peoria, Illinois, 10 to 2 a.m. Springfield, Illinois, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Champaign, Illinois, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Bloomington, Illinois, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Decatur, Illinois, 9:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. Quincy, Illinois, 8 to midnight. Chicago, Illinois, 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Saturday. That squall line is going to rattle windows across the Chicago metro. St. Louis, Missouri, 7 to 11 p.m. Friday. This is going to be a powerful passage. Damaging winds, heavy rain, and even a tornado cannot be ruled out as the line pushes through. Prepare now! Little Rock, Arkansas, 4 to 9 p.m. Pine Bluff, Arkansas, 4:30 to 9 p.m. Hot Springs, Arkansas, 3:30 to 8 p.m. Jonesboro, Arkansas, 6 to 10 p.m. Texarkana, 5 to 9 p.m. Shreveport, Louisiana, 4 to 8 p.m. Monroe, Louisiana, 5 to 9 p.m. Alexandria, Louisiana, 5 to 9 p.m. Now, I promised you I would cover over 270 cities, and I am going to keep that promise because this storm does not stop on Friday night, not even close. Saturday, March 7th. As the squall line continues pushing east, a whole new set of cities comes into the crosshairs. Let me break this down. The Storm Prediction Center has issued 2 separate slight risk areas for Saturday. The first covers Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and parts of New York. The second covers the continuation of storms through Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and parts of Texas, Starting with the Ohio River Valley in the northeast. Louisville, Kentucky, storms arrive between 8 a.m. and noon Saturday. Heavy rain, gusty winds, and a marginal tornado risk. Lexington, Kentucky, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Bowling Green, Kentucky, 7 to 11 a.m. Paducah, Kentucky, 6 to 10 a.m. Owensboro, Kentucky, 7 to 11 a.m. Frankfort, Kentucky, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Richmond, Kentucky, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Somerset, Kentucky, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Cincinnati, Ohio, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Columbus, Ohio, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Dayton, Ohio, 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Toledo, Ohio, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Cleveland, Ohio, noon to 4 p.m. Akron, Ohio, noon to 4 p.m. Youngstown, Ohio, 12:30 to 4 p.m. Canton, Ohio, noon to 3:30 p.m. Indianapolis, Indiana, 8 a.m. to noon. Fort Wayne, Indiana, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Evansville, Indiana, 7 to 11 a.m. Terre Haute, Indiana, 7:30 to 11:30 a.m. South Bend, Indiana, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Lafayette, Indiana, 8:30 to 12:30 p.m. Muncie, Indiana, 9 to 1 p.m. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 1 to 5 p.m. Severe thunderstorm warnings are possible as storms strengthen moving through the Appalachians. Erie, Pennsylvania, 1 to 4 p.m. Altoona, Pennsylvania, 2 to 5 p.m. State College, Pennsylvania, 2 to 5 p.m. Scranton, Pennsylvania, 3 to 6 p.m. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 3 to 6 p.m. Charleston, West Virginia, noon to 4 p.m. Morgantown, West Virginia, 1 to 4 p.m. Huntington, West Virginia, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Parkersburg, West Virginia, noon to 3:30 p.m. Buffalo, New York, 1 to 4 p.m. Rochester, New York, 1 to 4 p.m. Syracuse, New York, 2 to 5 p.m. Albany, New York, 3 to 6 p.m. And up into Canada, Hamilton and Toronto, Ontario, storms will push across Lake Ontario between 2 and 6 p.m. Saturday. Now, here is a critical update for the Deep South on Saturday, and I want you to pay very close attention because this part is going to surprise a lot of people. Nashville, Tennessee, storms arrive between 6 and 7 p.m. Saturday. Big-time storms with heavy rain, strong winds, and hail. Peak danger 6 to 10 p.m. Clarksville, Tennessee, 6 to 9 p.m. Memphis, Tennessee, this is a big one. Heavy rain, strong winds, hail, and yes, there is a conditional tornado threat. Storms arrive between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. Saturday. Jackson, Tennessee, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Knoxville, Tennessee, 1 to 6 p.m. Chattanooga, Tennessee, 2 to 7 p.m. Cookeville, Tennessee, noon to 5 p.m. Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 5 to 9 p.m. And here is the plot twist that I am genuinely more concerned about than most forecasters are letting on. Saturday, a storm setup over the Deep South has the potential to surprise people. I am actually really impressed by the atmospheric dynamics coming together on Saturday morning into the afternoon across Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and even Georgia. There is a separate area of prefrontal supercells that is going to try to form ahead of the main squall line. And these isolated supercells could produce tornadoes with very little warning time because they will be forming in a region that many people think the worst has already passed. Jackson, Mississippi. Storms arrive between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Saturday. Hattiesburg, Mississippi, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tupelo, Mississippi, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Meridian, Mississippi, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Vicksburg, Mississippi, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Birmingham, Alabama, noon to 5 p.m. Montgomery, Alabama, 1 to 6 p.m. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Huntsville, Alabama, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Mobile, Alabama, noon to 5 p.m. Dothan, Alabama, 2 to 6 p.m. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Lafayette, Louisiana, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Lake Charles, Louisiana, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. New Orleans, Louisiana, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Atlanta, Georgia, 3 to 7 p.m. Saturday. That is right, even Georgia is going to feel this system. Macon, Georgia, 4 to 8 p.m. Columbus, Georgia, 2 to 6 p.m. Savannah, Georgia, 5 to 9 p.m. Augusta, Georgia, 4 to 8 p.m. And down in Texas, the storm keeps producing. Tyler, Texas, 3 to 7 p.m. Friday, carryover storms, then new storms Saturday, 8 a.m. to noon. Longview, Texas, same pattern. Lufkin, Texas, Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Beaumont, Texas, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday. Houston, Texas, marginal risk, Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Corpus Christi, Texas, marginal risk Saturday, 8 a.m. to noon. Lubbock, Texas, your storms come Thursday evening through Friday morning, then you get a break. Midland and Odessa, Texas, Thursday evening storms 6 to 10 p.m., then quieting down Friday. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You are saying, okay, the weekend is going to be rough, but then we get a break, right? Wrong. And this is the part of the video where I need you to really lean in, because what is coming next week is potentially even more dangerous than what we are dealing with this weekend. The Storm Prediction Center has already issued a rare Day 6 severe weather warning for Tuesday, March 10th. Let me repeat that. A Day 6 warning. This almost never happens. When the Storm Prediction Center puts out a warning 6 days in advance, it means they are seeing something in the atmosphere that they cannot ignore. Something that is screaming at them from every single model run. And what they are seeing is terrifying from a severe weather standpoint. A 15% probability zone for severe weather is already in place for Tuesday, March 10th, covering 22 million Americans. This zone stretches from Topeka, Kansas, down to Austin, Texas, and includes Oklahoma City, Dallas, Fort Worth, and huge swaths of Missouri and Arkansas. Here is your preliminary city-by-city outlook for Tuesday, March 10th. And I want to be clear, this is still 6 days away, so specific timing will be refined. But the overall pattern is locked in. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, severe weather likely Tuesday afternoon through the evening. Expect supercell thunderstorms with tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. Probable window 2 to 10 p.m. Norman, Oklahoma, 2 to 10 p.m. Edmond, Oklahoma, 2 to 10 p.m. Moore, Oklahoma, 2 to 10 p.m. Stillwater, Oklahoma, 3 to 9 p.m. Lawton, Oklahoma, 1 to 8 p.m. Enid, Oklahoma, 3 to 9 p.m. Dallas, Texas, severe storms likely Tuesday afternoon into evening. 1 to 9 p.m. Fort Worth, Texas, 12:30 to 8 p.m. Arlington, Texas, 1 to 9 p.m. Plano, Texas, 1 to 8 p.m. Denton, Texas, 12 to 7 p.m. Waco, Texas, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Austin, Texas, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. San Antonio, Texas, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tyler, Texas, 2 to 8 p.m. Longview, Texas, 2 to 8 p.m. Lubbock, Texas, noon to 7 p.m. Amarillo, Texas, noon to 7 p.m. Abilene, Texas, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Midland, Texas, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Odessa, Texas, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 2 to 9 p.m. Muskogee, Oklahoma, 2 to 8 p.m. Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, 2 to 9 p.m. Springfield, Missouri, 4 to 10 p.m. Joplin, Missouri, 3 to 9 p.m. Kansas City, 4 to 10 p.m. St. Louis, Missouri, 6 to midnight. Columbia, Missouri, 5 to 10 p.m. Jefferson City, Missouri, 5 to 10 p.m. Fort Smith, Arkansas, 2 to 8 p.m. Fayetteville, Arkansas, 3 to 9 p.m. Little Rock, Arkansas, 4 to 10 p.m. Jonesboro, Arkansas, 5 to 11 p.m. Pine Bluff, Arkansas, 4 to 10 p.m. Topeka, Kansas, 4 to 10 p.m. Wichita, Kansas, 2 to 8 p.m. Manhattan, Kansas, 3 to 9 p.m. Lawrence, Kansas, 4 to 10 p.m. Salina, Kansas, 2 to 8 p.m. And this severe weather event is going to persist well into the overnight hours on Tuesday and then push eastward into Wednesday and Thursday, impacting even more cities farther to the east. Memphis, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Birmingham, Alabama, Jackson, Mississippi, Louisville, Kentucky, Indianapolis, Indiana. All of these cities could see additional severe weather from Wednesday into Thursday of next week. Let me also give you the fire weather situation, because this is an often overlooked part of these powerful storm systems. Ahead of the cold front on Friday, relative humidity is going to drop to dangerously low levels across parts of western Texas, western Oklahoma, and western Kansas. Combined with wind gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour, we are looking at critical fire weather conditions across a massive area. Lubbock, Texas, critical fire danger, Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sustained winds of 30 to 40 miles per hour with gusts to 55. Relative humidity dropping below 15%. Amarillo, Texas, same situation. Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Dodge City, Kansas, Friday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Garden City, Kansas, Friday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Woodward, Oklahoma, Friday 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. before storms arrive. Liberal, Kansas, Friday 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Guyman, Oklahoma, Friday 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Borger, Texas, Friday 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pampa, Texas, Friday 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you live in these areas, do not burn anything. Do not throw cigarettes out of your car window. Do not do anything that could spark a fire. Grass fires can spread at 30 miles per hour in these conditions, faster than a person can run. One spark can destroy thousands of acres and put lives at risk. Now let me also talk about the flash flooding component, because this is the silent killer in severe weather events. Most people focus on tornadoes, and rightfully so, they are terrifying. But did you know that flash flooding kills more Americans every year than tornadoes do? And this storm system is going to drop tremendous amounts of rain across areas that are already saturated from recent storms. Here are the cities that need to be most alert for flash flooding. Springfield, Missouri, 2 to 4 inches of rain possible Friday afternoon into Saturday morning. With multiple rounds of storms, this could overwhelm drainage systems quickly. Fayetteville, Arkansas, 2 to 4 inches in 6 hours is possible Friday afternoon. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 2 to 3 inches Friday. If you live near a creek or in a low-lying area, have a plan to get to higher ground. Fort Smith, Arkansas, 3 to 5 inches total rainfall through Saturday morning. Joplin, Missouri, 2 to 3 inches. Des Moines, Iowa, 1 to 3 inches Friday night into Saturday. Kansas City, 2 to 4 inches possible with multiple rounds of storms. Oklahoma City, 1 to 3 inches Thursday night into Friday. Little Rock, Arkansas, 2 to 4 inches Friday into Saturday. Memphis, Tennessee, 2 to 3 inches Saturday. Turn around, do not drown. If you encounter a flooded road, do not try to drive through it. Just 6 inches of moving water can knock you off your feet. 12 inches can carry away a small car, and 24 inches of moving water will sweep away most vehicles, including trucks and SUVs. Every single year, people die because they try to drive through flooded roads. Do not be one of them. Now, let me zoom out and talk about something that I think is incredibly important for understanding why this is happening and what it means for the weeks ahead. We are in the early stages of what climatologists call a front-loaded severe weather season. And I am going to explain exactly what that means and why it matters for you. This year, we are transitioning from a La Nina pattern into an El Nino pattern across the Pacific Ocean. La Nina, which we have been in for the past year and a half, tends to create a more active and unpredictable jet stream over North America. The jet stream dips and wobbles, creating more opportunities for cold air from Canada to collide with warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico. That collision is exactly what produces tornadoes. Now, here is the science behind why that matters so much right now. When we are in La Nina, the jet stream over North America tends to buckle and form deep troughs. Think of the jet stream as a river of fast-moving air about 30,000 feet above the ground, flowing from west to east. In La Nina, that river gets curvy. It dips far south, bringing cold air down from Canada, and then it swings far north, allowing warm air to surge up from the Gulf. Where those two air masses meet, you get explosive thunderstorm development. That is what is happening right now. But here is the critical twist. We are not just sitting in La Nina, we are leaving it. The tropical Pacific is warming, and models are showing a transition to El Nino by late spring. During El Nino, the jet stream tends to flatten out. It flows more directly from west to east without as many deep dips and swings. That means fewer opportunities for those violent cold air and warm air collisions. So think about what that means for the timing of tornado season. Right now, in early March, we still have that La Nina wobbly jet stream signature, but by May and June, we are likely to be in a much flatter, more El Nino-like pattern. That is why I keep using the term front-loaded. The most dangerous part of this tornado season is likely happening right now and will continue through April. The back half of the season, May and June, should be quieter than average. But I want to be very clear about something. Quieter than average does not mean safe. Even in the weakest tornado seasons on record, we still see hundreds of tornadoes across the United States. The dry line in western Oklahoma and Kansas will still fire up supercells in May. The Gulf moisture will still be available. Individual days can still be incredibly dangerous even in an El Nino pattern, so please do not take this forecast as an excuse to let your guard down after April. Stay prepared all season long, but as we transition toward El Nino over the coming months, the jet stream is expected to flatten out and become more predictable. That typically reduces tornado activity. So what we are looking at is a severe weather season where March and April are going to be significantly more active than May and June. The front half is loaded, the back half should be quieter, but that does not help you right now if you are sitting in the bullseye. And there is another factor making this situation worse. The Gulf of Mexico sea surface temperatures right now are running 2 to 4 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. That means there is extra moisture, extra fuel for thunderstorms being pumped into the atmosphere. It is like adding gasoline to an already raging fire. Every single storm that forms over the next week is going to have access to more energy than it would in a typical year. That means bigger hail, stronger winds, and more violent tornadoes. Let me give you some numbers that put this in perspective. In an average year, the United States sees approximately 1,100 to 1,200 tornadoes. Based on the current pattern, I am forecasting this season to produce between 1,000 and 1,300 tornadoes. That is within the normal range, but the distribution is going to be front-loaded. We could see 300 to 400 tornadoes in March and April alone, which would be well above average for those months. Now, there is an important message I want to deliver, and I want you to hear it clearly. These numbers are not meant to scare you. Statistics do not tell the whole story. It only takes one storm to change your life. You could live through the quietest tornado season in 50 years, but if an EF3 tornado hits your neighborhood, the statistics mean nothing. What matters is preparation. What matters is having a plan. What matters is knowing when the storms are coming and what to do when they arrive. So let me give you your action plan, and I want every single person watching this to follow these steps before you go to bed tonight. Step 1. Identify your safe room right now. This should be an interior room on the lowest floor of your home, away from windows. A bathroom, a closet, or a basement. If you live in a mobile home, identify a nearby sturdy structure where you can take shelter. Step 2. Make sure you have a way to receive weather warnings while you are sleeping. A NOAA weather radio is the gold standard. They cost about $30 and they will wake you up with an alarm when a warning is issued for your county. You can also use smartphone apps, but make sure your phone is charged and the sound is turned on. Step 3. Have shoes and a flashlight near your bed tonight. If a tornado hits in the middle of the night, you do not want to be walking through debris in bare feet in the dark. A headlamp is even better than a flashlight because it frees up your hands. You can get one at any hardware store for under $10. Step 4. Know the difference between a watch and a warning. A tornado watch means conditions are favorable for tornadoes. Stay alert and monitor the weather. A tornado warning means a tornado has been spotted or indicated on radar. Take shelter immediately. Do not wait. Do not look outside. Go to your safe room now. The average lead time for a tornado warning is about 13 minutes. That sounds like a lot, but it goes by fast when you are trying to gather your family and get to safety. Having a plan in place means you can execute in under 2 minutes instead of wasting precious time figuring out what to do. Now let me talk specifically about power outages because this is something a lot of people overlook. A widespread severe weather event like this is almost certain to cause significant power outages. Damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes all bring down power lines and damage electrical infrastructure. After the storms move through, it could take utility crews anywhere from a few hours to several days to restore power, depending on the extent of the damage. Here is how to prepare. Fill your bathtub with water before the storms arrive. This gives you water for flushing toilets and basic cleaning if the water system goes down. Make sure you have bottled drinking water separately. If you have a generator, make sure it is fueled up and ready. Never run a generator inside your home or garage. Carbon monoxide poisoning kills people every year after storms because they run generators in enclosed spaces. Place your generator outside at least 20 feet from any window or door. Fill your car with gas tomorrow. If power goes out across a wide area, gas stations will not be able to pump fuel. You do not want to be stuck with an empty tank when you might need to evacuate or get to a shelter. If you have medications that require refrigeration, like insulin, have a cooler and ice packs ready. Know how long your medications can safely be at room temperature. Talk to your pharmacist if you are not sure. And here is something people rarely think about. Charge a portable battery pack tonight. These cost about $20 and can charge your phone 2 to 3 times. If the power is out for days, this could be your lifeline for receiving weather warnings and staying in contact with family. Step 5. Talk to your family about the plan tonight. Make sure everyone knows where to go and what to do. This takes 5 minutes and it could save lives. Step 6. Charge all your devices before you go to bed. If the power goes out, and in a widespread severe weather event like this, power outages are almost guaranteed. You want your phone fully charged so you can continue to receive warnings. Step 7. If you have pets, know where their carriers are. In a tornado warning situation, you may have less than 5 minutes to get to shelter. You do not want to be chasing your cat around the house when a tornado is bearing down. Step 8. Have water and basic supplies in your safe room. A gallon of water per person, a first aid kit, medications you need, and important documents in a waterproof bag. If the worst happens and your home is damaged, you will be glad you had these things within reach. Step 9. Know your county name. This sounds silly, but tornado warnings are issued by county. If you do not know what county you live in, you might not recognize when a warning applies to you. Look it up right now. Write it down, tape it to your refrigerator. Step 10. If you live in a mobile home or manufactured home, please identify a nearby sturdy structure where you can go. Mobile homes offer almost zero protection against tornadoes. Even an EF0 tornado with winds of 65 to 85 miles per hour can destroy a mobile home. Do not ride it out. Get out and get to a stronger structure. If you do not have access to one, many communities have storm shelters. Call your local emergency management office tomorrow morning and ask where the nearest public shelter is. I want to share a quick story that I think illustrates why preparation matters so much. Last year, a family in Moore, Oklahoma told me they had been watching weather coverage and knew storms were coming. They had their safe room identified, shoes by the bed, weather radio on. When the tornado warning went off at 2:17 a.m., they were in their bathroom closet within 90 seconds. The tornado passed within half a mile of their home. Trees were down in their yard. Their neighbor's fence was destroyed. But they were safe. They were calm. They knew exactly what to do. That is the difference preparation makes. Now, I have covered a lot of cities already, but I want to make sure I am not leaving anyone out. Let me run through some additional cities and their timing for this multi-day event. Thursday night into Friday morning, continuing. Wichita Falls, Texas, 8 p.m. to midnight Thursday. Sherman, Texas, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Gainesville, Texas, 8:30 p.m. to midnight. Durant, Oklahoma, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Paris, Texas, 9:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. Hugo, Oklahoma, 9 to midnight. Idabel, Oklahoma, 9 to midnight. Friday afternoon and evening, additional cities. Emporia, Kansas, 4 to 8 p.m. Pittsburgh, Kansas, 3 to 7 p.m. Parsons, Kansas, 3 to 7 p.m. Coffeyville, Kansas, 3 to 7 p.m. Independence, Kansas, 3 to 7 p.m. Nevada, Missouri, 3 to 7 p.m. Warrensburg, Missouri, 4 to 8 p.m. Rolla, Missouri, 5 to 9 p.m. Farmington, Missouri, 6 to 10 p.m. Festus, Missouri, 6 to 10 p.m. Harrison, Arkansas, 3 to 7 p.m. Mountain Home, Arkansas, 3:30 to 7:30 p.m. Batesville, Arkansas, 4 to 8 p.m. Searcy, Arkansas, 4 to 8 p.m. Conway, Arkansas, 4 to 8 p.m. Russellville, Arkansas, 3 to 7 p.m. Clarksville, Arkansas, 3 to 7 p.m. Mena, Arkansas, 2:30 to 6:30 p.m. Magnolia, Arkansas, 3 to 7 p.m. El Dorado, Arkansas, 3:30 to 7:30 p.m. Durant, Oklahoma, 2 to 5 p.m. Poteau, Oklahoma, 2 to 6 p.m. Sallisaw, Oklahoma, 2 to 6 p.m. Tahlequah, Oklahoma, 2:30 to 6:30 p.m. Claremore, Oklahoma, 3 to 7 p.m. Veneta, Oklahoma, 3 to 7 p.m. Miami, Oklahoma, 3 to 7 p.m. Waterloo, Iowa, 8 to midnight Friday. Dubuque, Iowa, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Mason City, Iowa, 9 to 1 a.m. Fort Dodge, Iowa, 7 to 11 p.m. Ames, Iowa, 7 to 11 p.m. Marshalltown, Iowa, 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Ottumwa, Iowa, 7 to 11 p.m. Burlington, Iowa, 8 to midnight. Eau Claire, Wisconsin, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. La Crosse, Wisconsin, 9 to 1 a.m. Wausau, Wisconsin, 10:30 to 2:30 a.m. Janesville, Wisconsin, 10 to 2 a.m. Kenosha, Wisconsin, 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Racine, Wisconsin, 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Moline, Illinois, 9 to 1 a.m. Galesburg, Illinois, 8:30 to 12:30 a.m. Jacksonville, Illinois, 8 to midnight. Effingham, Illinois, 9 to 1 a.m. Carbondale, Illinois, 7 to 11 p.m. Marion, Illinois, 7 to 11 p.m. Mount Vernon, Illinois, 8 to midnight. Evansville, Indiana, 7 to 11 p.m. Friday. Terre Haute, Indiana, 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Vincennes, Indiana, 7 to 11 p.m. Bloomington, Indiana, 8 to midnight. Columbus, Indiana, 8:30 to 12:30 a.m. Detroit, Michigan, Saturday 1 to 5 p.m. Grand Rapids, Michigan, Saturday noon to 4 p.m. Lansing, Michigan, Saturday noon to 4 p.m. Kalamazoo, Michigan, Saturday noon to 4 p.m. Ann Arbor, Michigan, Saturday 1 to 4 p.m. Flint, Michigan, Saturday 1 to 5 p.m. Saginaw, Michigan, Saturday 1 to 5 p.m. Saturday continued. Deep South. Tupelo, Mississippi, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Oxford, Mississippi, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Starkville, Mississippi, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Greenville, Mississippi, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Clarksdale, Mississippi, 8 a.m. to noon. Laurel, Mississippi, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Gulfport, Mississippi, noon to 4 p.m. Biloxi, Mississippi, noon to 4 p.m. Florence, Alabama, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Decatur, Alabama, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Gadsden, Alabama, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Anniston, Alabama, noon to 4 p.m. Auburn, Alabama, 1 to 5 p.m. Selma, Alabama, 1 to 5 p.m. Troy, Alabama, 2 to 6 p.m. Valdosta, Georgia, 4 to 8 p.m. Saturday. Albany, Georgia, 3 to 7 p.m. Rome, Georgia, 2 to 6 p.m. Dalton, Georgia, 2 to 6 p.m. Gainesville, Georgia, 3 to 7 p.m. Athens, Georgia, 3 to 7 p.m. Tallahassee, Florida, 5 to 9 p.m. Saturday. Pensacola, Florida, 2 to 6 p.m. Panama City, Florida, 3 to 7 p.m. Jacksonville, Florida, 6 to 10 p.m. Saturday. Ocala, Florida, 7 to 11 p.m. Gainesville, Florida, 6 to 10 p.m. Daytona Beach, Florida, 8 to midnight Saturday. Tampa and St. Petersburg, marginal risk Saturday evening 7 to 11 p.m. Orlando, Florida, marginal risk 8 to midnight. Greenville, South Carolina, 4 to 8 p.m. Saturday. Spartanburg, South Carolina, 4 to 8 p.m. Anderson, South Carolina, 4 to 8 p.m. Columbia, South Carolina, 5 to 9 p.m. Charleston, South Carolina, 7 to 11 p.m. Saturday. Florence, South Carolina, 6 to 10 p.m. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 7 to 11 p.m. Charlotte, North Carolina, 5 to 9 p.m. Saturday. Raleigh, North Carolina, 6 to 10 p.m. Greensboro, North Carolina, 5 to 9 p.m. Winston-Salem, North Carolina, 5 to 9 p.m. Asheville, North Carolina, 3 to 7 p.m. Wilmington, North Carolina, 7 to 11 p.m. Fayetteville, North Carolina, 6 to 10 p.m. Durham, North Carolina, 6 to 10 p.m. High Point, North Carolina, 5 to 9 p.m. Hickory, North Carolina, 4 to 8 p.m. Gastonia, North Carolina, 5 to 9 p.m. Roanoke, Virginia, 4 to 8 p.m. Saturday. Lynchburg, Virginia, 4 to 8 p.m. Richmond, Virginia, 6 to 10 p.m. Norfolk, Virginia, 7 to 11 p.m. Virginia Beach, Virginia, 7 to 11 p.m. Danville, Virginia, 5 to 9 p.m. Charlottesville, Virginia, 5 to 9 p.m. Bristol, Virginia, 3 to 7 p.m. Washington, District of Columbia, 6 to 10 p.m. Saturday. Baltimore, Maryland, 6 to 10 p.m. Frederick, Maryland, 5 to 9 p.m. Hagerstown, Maryland, 5 to 8 p.m. Annapolis, Maryland, 6 to 10 p.m. Wilmington, Delaware, 7 to 10 p.m. Saturday. Dover, Delaware, 7 to 10 p.m. Now let me also cover some cities that people always ask about in these events. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Saturday evening, 7 to 10 p.m. Mostly heavy rain and gusty winds by the time the system reaches you, but do not let your guard down. Thunderstorm warnings are still possible. Allentown, Pennsylvania, 7 to 10 p.m. Reading, Pennsylvania, 6 to 10 p.m. Lancaster, Pennsylvania, 7 to 10 p.m. York, Pennsylvania, 6 to 10 p.m. New York City, if you are watching from the 5 boroughs, the remnants of this system will push through Saturday evening into Sunday morning. Expect heavy rain and gusty winds between 8 p.m. Saturday and 2 a.m. Sunday. Severe thunderstorms are unlikely but not impossible. Newark, New Jersey, 8 p.m. to midnight Saturday. Trenton, New Jersey, 7 to 11 p.m. Atlantic City, New Jersey, 8 to midnight. Hartford, Connecticut, 9 p.m. Saturday to 1 a.m. Sunday. New Haven, Connecticut, 9 to midnight. Bridgeport, Connecticut, 9 to midnight. Providence, Rhode Island, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Sunday. Boston, Massachusetts, 10 p.m. Saturday to 2 a.m. Sunday. Mostly rain and wind by the time it reaches New England, but some thunder is possible. Now, I want to make sure we cover the states that sit right in the transition zone between severe and non-severe weather on this event. Because some of the most dangerous situations happen when people think they are out of the risk area and let their guard down. Tupelo, Mississippi, I mentioned you earlier, but I want to emphasize this. Saturday morning is going to be your most dangerous time, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The storms coming through Mississippi on Saturday morning are going to have the element of surprise. A lot of people are going to be focused on the Friday outbreak in Oklahoma and Kansas and might not realize that Saturday in the Deep South is going to be just as dangerous in some areas. Meridian, Mississippi, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Columbus, Mississippi, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Greenwood, Mississippi, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Natchez, Mississippi, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And something that really concerns me is what I call the overnight tornado problem. Some of the deadliest tornado events in American history have happened at night. Why? Because people are asleep. They do not hear the sirens. They do not see the storm coming. And tornadoes that hit at night have a fatality rate that is more than double the rate of daytime tornadoes. That is a staggering statistic. Thursday night and Friday night are both overnight severe weather situations for millions of Americans. Oklahoma City at midnight Thursday. Kansas City at 4 a.m. Friday, Des Moines at 9 p.m. Friday, Chicago at midnight Saturday. These are times when people are sleeping. If you are in any of these areas, tonight is not the night to go to bed without your weather radio on. Let me also address something I have been getting a lot of questions about. People are asking, is this related to climate change? Is this unusual? Are tornadoes getting worse? And the answer is nuanced. The United States typically sees around 1,100 to 1,200 tornadoes per year. That number has not changed dramatically over the decades. What has changed is our ability to detect and document tornadoes. We have more storm chasers, more radar coverage, more cell phones capturing events. So, while the raw numbers appear to be trending upward since 1950, most of that increase is due to better detection, not more tornadoes. What the science does suggest is changing is the pattern of tornadoes. There is evidence that tornadoes are becoming more clustered. Instead of being spread out evenly across the season, we are seeing more big outbreak days and more quiet days in between. That feast or famine pattern is exactly what I expect this season. And this weekend is one of those feast periods. There is also some evidence that Dixie Alley, the region from Mississippi through Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, is seeing an increase in tornado activity relative to the traditional tornado alley in the Central Plains. This is particularly dangerous because Dixie Alley has more trees, more hills, and more nighttime tornadoes, all of which reduce visibility and warning time. If you live in the Deep South, please take Saturday's threat seriously. Now, I want to talk about something that the data is screaming at us, but that most weather coverage glosses over. The hail threat from this event is going to be enormous. We are not just talking about marble-sized hail. We are talking about baseball-sized hail, possibly even softball-sized in the most intense supercells on Friday afternoon. Hail of this size falls at over 100 miles per hour. It will shatter car windshields. It will punch holes in roofs. It will destroy siding and break windows. If you have vehicles, get them in a garage if possible. If you do not have a garage, consider parking them under a covered structure or against the north side of a building, since storms typically approach from the southwest. And here is a number that might shock you. Hail damage costs the United States over $10 billion every single year. Last year, a single hailstorm in Dallas caused over $1.5 billion in insured losses. One storm, one afternoon. That is the kind of economic devastation that large hail can cause. For Friday's event, the cities most at risk for very large hail, 2 inches in diameter or bigger, include Fort Smith, Arkansas, Fayetteville, Arkansas, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Muskogee, Oklahoma, Springfield, Missouri, Joplin, Missouri, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Des Moines, Iowa. These cities should prepare for the possibility of damaging hail during the afternoon and early evening hours. Let me also quickly cover some cities in the northern tier that might think they are too far north to worry about this event. That would be a mistake. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Storms arrive Friday afternoon around 3 to 7 p.m. Large hail and isolated tornadoes are possible this far north. Aberdeen, South Dakota, 4 to 8 p.m. Friday. Rapid City, South Dakota, you are mostly in the clear, but watch for gusty winds Thursday evening. Pierre, South Dakota, 2 to 6 p.m. Friday. Mitchell, South Dakota, 3 to 7 p.m. Friday. Fargo, North Dakota, marginal risk. Friday evening, 6 to 10 p.m. Bismarck, North Dakota, mostly clear of severe weather, but we'll see some rain Friday evening. Grand Forks, North Dakota, marginal risk Friday night, 7 to 11 p.m. Duluth, Minnesota, marginal risk late Friday into early Saturday. Heavy rain is your main threat. St. Cloud, Minnesota, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Friday into Saturday. Mankato, Minnesota, 8 to midnight Friday. Winona, Minnesota, 9 to 1 a.m. And here is something else I want you to think about. If you have elderly parents or grandparents who live alone, call them tonight. Call them tomorrow morning. Make sure they know this is coming. Make sure they have a way to receive warnings. Make sure they have a plan. Older Americans are disproportionately affected by severe weather events because they may not have smartphones, they may have mobility issues that slow their ability to get to shelter, and they may sleep through sirens or weather alerts. A 5-minute phone call from you could literally save their life this weekend. Same goes for anyone you know who works outdoors. Farmers, ranchers, construction workers, utility crews. Friday afternoon is going to be incredibly dangerous for anyone caught outside when these supercells start firing. If you can, share this video with them or, at minimum, text them the timing for their city. Now, I know that was a massive amount of information, so let me bring it all together and give you the big picture summary. Thursday night, March 5th. The outbreak begins in the Texas Panhandle and western Oklahoma, supercells with large hail and tornadoes. Storms transition to a squall line and push through central Oklahoma and Kansas overnight. Friday, March 6th, the main event. A significant severe weather outbreak from Milwaukee to Dallas. The hot zone is between Kansas City and Fort Smith, with a 10% hatched risk for significant tornadoes, EF2 or higher. Storms begin in the afternoon as supercells and transition to a damaging wind squall line by evening. Impacts extend well into the overnight hours across the upper Midwest and Great Lakes. Saturday, March 7th. The squall line and associated storms push through the Ohio River Valley, Tennessee, the Deep South, and into the Southeast. A separate area of supercells may produce tornadoes across Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana ahead of the main line. Sunday, March 8th. The system finally exits to the east. Brief break, Tuesday, March 10th. A new and potentially even more dangerous storm system targets the exact same areas: Oklahoma City, Dallas, Fort Worth, and all of the Central Plains. Day 6 severe weather warning already issued. 22 million people in the risk area, Wednesday through Thursday, March 11th and 12th. The Tuesday system pushes east, impacting the Mississippi River Valley, Tennessee Valley, and the Southeast. Here is a preliminary look at those cities. Memphis, Tennessee, Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Expect strong to severe storms with damaging winds and a tornado risk. Nashville, Tennessee, Wednesday afternoon noon to 6 p.m. Birmingham, Alabama, Wednesday afternoon 2 to 8 p.m. Jackson, Mississippi, Wednesday morning 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Shreveport, Louisiana, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Montgomery, Alabama, Wednesday afternoon 1 to 7 p.m. Atlanta, Georgia, Wednesday evening 5 to 11 p.m. Knoxville, Tennessee, Wednesday afternoon 3 to 8 p.m. Chattanooga, Tennessee, Wednesday afternoon 2 to 7 p.m. Huntsville, Alabama, Wednesday noon to 6 p.m. Louisville, Kentucky, Wednesday afternoon 2 to 8 p.m. Evansville, Indiana, Wednesday noon to 6 p.m. Paducah, Kentucky, Wednesday morning 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Bowling Green, Kentucky, Wednesday noon to 6 p.m. Thursday, the system will continue tracking northeast. Cincinnati, Ohio, Thursday morning 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Columbus, Ohio, Thursday 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Thursday noon to 6 p.m. Charleston, West Virginia, Thursday 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Roanoke, Virginia, Thursday 1 to 6 p.m. Charlotte, North Carolina, Thursday 2 to 8 p.m. Raleigh, North Carolina, Thursday 3 to 9 p.m. Richmond, Virginia, Thursday 3 to 8 p.m. Washington, District of Columbia, Thursday 4 to 9 p.m. So when I add it all up, we are looking at a 7 to 8 day stretch where severe weather impacts over 270 cities across at least 30 states. That is an enormous geographic scope. And the back-to-back nature of these systems means that emergency responders, power crews, and first responders are going to be stretched thin. If your power goes out Friday night, it might not be restored before the next round hits Tuesday. That is the reality of what we are dealing with. And here is the thing that has me most concerned about the long-range outlook. The pattern that is driving all of this severe weather does not show signs of breaking anytime soon. For the next 10 to 14 days, the jet stream is going to continue to buckle and dive across the central United States, one storm system after another. We are not going to get a significant break from severe weather potential until at least mid to late March. And even then, remember what I said about this being a front-loaded season. April is going to be active too. Let me put this in historical context for you because I think it is important to understand just how unusual this pattern is. Having two significant severe weather systems hit the same area within 5 days of each other, which is what we are looking at with the Friday and Tuesday events, is not unheard of, but it is uncommon. It puts tremendous stress on communities, on emergency services, on infrastructure. Damage from the first system has not been repaired before the second one arrives. People are still cleaning up debris, still dealing with power outages, still processing what just happened, and then they have to go through it all over again. In the past 20 years, we have seen patterns like this produce some of the most memorable and devastating severe weather events in American history. The April 2011 super outbreak saw over 300 tornadoes in a single multi-day event. The May 2013 Moore, Oklahoma EF5 was part of a multi-day severe weather pattern. I am not saying this weekend will reach those levels, but I am saying that the ingredients are similar and the potential is absolutely there for a major event. What makes this particularly concerning is the geographic breadth. This is not a narrow corridor event. The severe weather risk extends from the Canadian border to the Gulf Coast and from the Rockies to the Appalachians. Hundreds of millions of Americans are in the potential impact zone over the next week. That is an enormous area to cover, and it means that no matter where you live east of the Rockies, you need to be paying attention. Another factor that I have not mentioned yet is the timing relative to daylight saving time. Daylight saving time begins this Sunday, March 9th. That means on Sunday morning you lose an hour of sleep, and then on Tuesday, when the next severe weather system arrives, you are going to be dealing with storms on 1 hour less rest than normal. I know that sounds like a small thing, but studies on daylight saving time consistently show it affects alertness and reaction time. If you are in the Tuesday risk area, make an extra effort to get enough sleep Sunday and Monday night so you are sharp when the storms arrive. The Gulf of Mexico waters are above average. The jet stream is in peak wobble mode during this La Nina to El Nino transition, and the calendar is marching us straight into the climatological peak of tornado season. The average peak for tornado activity in the southern plains is late April into early May. For Dixie Alley, from Alabama through Mississippi and Tennessee, the peak is actually right now, in March. So for millions of Americans in the Deep South, you are living through the most statistically dangerous time of year for tornadoes at the exact moment when the atmospheric pattern is supercharged. Here is my promise to you. I will be monitoring this situation around the clock. I will have updates as the Friday outbreak unfolds in real time. And as soon as we get better data on the Tuesday system, I will break that down for you city by city, just like I did today. But I need something from you. Drop your city in the comments right now. Tell me where you are. I want to make sure nobody is left out. If your city was not in this video, I will personally respond with your forecast timing. Because when it comes to severe weather, nobody should be left without information. I do not care if you live in a small town that never makes the national weather coverage. Your safety matters just as much as someone in Oklahoma City or Dallas. Every single person deserves to know when dangerous weather is heading their way. And if you found this video helpful, do me a favor and share it. Share it on Facebook, text the link to your family group chat, post it on your neighborhood page. The more people who have this information, the safer our communities will be. Weather information saves lives, but only if people actually see it before the storms arrive. Do not assume your neighbor is watching the weather. Do not assume your coworker knows what is coming. Take 30 seconds and spread the word. And here is one more thing before I go. The 2026 tornado season is shaping up to be one of the most active starts to a season in recent memory. We have already seen above-average severe weather activity in the first week of March, and every indication is that this is just the beginning. The next 6 weeks are going to test communities across the heartland. But here is the good news. You are watching this video, which means you are informed. You are ahead of the curve. You have timing, you have a plan, and you have knowledge. That is more than most people can say. So spread the word. Share this video with your neighbors, your coworkers, your family. Make sure the people you care about have the same information you do. Now, in the next video, I am going to do a deep dive into the Tuesday, March 10th outbreak. I am going to show you the exact model runs, the specific tornado parameters, and city-by-city timing as the data sharpens up. That video is going to be the most important video I have released this year, and you do not want to miss it. So make sure you are subscribed and that you have notifications turned on so you do not miss it when it drops. I also want to give you a sneak peek at something I am seeing in the long-range models that very few people are talking about. The third week of March, around March 18th to 22nd, another significant pattern is trying to develop. I am not going to say too much about it right now because it is still 2 weeks away and a lot can change. But what I will say is that if the current trend continues, we could be looking at a stretch of 3 consecutive weeks with significant tornado outbreaks across the central and southern United States. That would be extraordinary, even by Tornado Alley standards. So stay tuned, stay prepared, and most importantly, stay safe tonight and through this weekend. The storms are coming, and they are going to be powerful. But if you know when they are arriving and you have a plan in place, you are going to get through this just fine. Drop your city in the comments. I will see you in the next video. Stay safe out there. One final thought. The United States averages about 1,200 tornadoes per year. We typically see our first significant outbreak in March or early April. What makes this year different is that we are not getting a gentle start. We are getting thrown into the deep end. This is like March decided to skip the warm-up and go straight to the main event. Multiple days of severe weather, back-to-back systems, and a jet stream that is not going to calm down for weeks. But I want to leave you with this. Tornadoes are dangerous, but they are survivable. The vast majority of people who take shelter survive, even in the strongest tornadoes. Your odds go up dramatically when you are informed and prepared. And right now, you are both. You know the timing, you know the threats, you know what to do. Talk to your neighbors, share this information, check on the elderly in your community, make sure everyone has a plan. And when the sirens go off or your weather radio starts screaming, do not hesitate. Go to your safe room immediately. Do not stop to record video. Do not stand at the window watching. Get to safety first. I will be here with updates throughout this entire event. The next video will drop as soon as we have sharper data on Tuesday SE system. It is going to be the most detailed city-by-city breakdown I have ever done for a single severe weather event. You absolutely do not want to miss it. Until then,